What's up, weirdos? I'm Felicia and I like scary movies, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a new Netflix movie that is perfect for our spooky season, and that is Vampires vs. the Bronx. Now, this is a movie I hadn't heard much about until a few people sent it to me via like Twitter and Instagram recently saying to check it out, and so I watched it the other night and it was a delight. I think that's like the cleanest word for that. It's a delight. Before we get into why this movie brought me so much joy, I'm going to give you a little bit of plot. So a group of young friends from the Bronx fight to save their neighborhood from gentrification and vampires.
One night with you guys and I already have vampires and thugs trying to kill me. Vampire! Go!
So the overall thing about this movie that brought me so much joy is sort of in two parts. One, we have a pretty serious subject matter, gentrification in New York, which is a huge issue here. And it's viewed through the lens of kids. It's like a kid's adventure movie with horror elements and comedy elements. So it feels like a very original idea to me. And then on the other side, the movie has this kind of deep sense of nostalgia. It's filmed in this way that feels like a 90s movie. It feels like it pushes the limits a little bit. It's PG-13, so it doesn't feel like a kids movie necessarily, but it really feels like a perfect kind of gateway spooky movie for kids to get into the horror genre. And then you also have all of these different vampire elements that are homages to different vampires in movies, books, etc. And I'm going to get into a list of those later. But through these things, my experience of watching it was like I was sitting there, I felt like a kid again. I felt excited. It felt like watching like the Goonies or something like that. I love vampires, and so like I'm all about all that side of it. And then we also have a cool original idea, and of course all the New York elements really spoke to me. I mean, the kid in this, his name's Miguel Martinez is the character. The movie starts with him trying to save his local bodega where him and his friends hang out, and it's run by this guy named Tony, and they feel at home there, and it's gonna be shut down because the landlord is raising the rent. This company called Murnau Enterprises, which is a nod to the director of Nosferatu, is buying up all this property in the Bronx, and they are kind of the evil force. And they mention many times in the movie that they chose the Bronx because it was a place where people wouldn't care if people disappeared from there. Those people don't matter, their businesses don't matter. And though of course this is framed as a vampire movie, these are actual issues that we're dealing with in New York and other cities across America. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when I was watching it, I felt like I was getting the spooky October excitement that I wanted, and also getting something a little new and different. This movie was written by Blaise Hemingway and directed by Oz Rodriguez. And I really think he did such a good job because I thought the script for this movie was so strong. I just really loved everything about it. And I thought the direction was strong. Like the way in which it was filmed kind of at times felt like an action movie. Like the kids in this movie are sort of portrayed as powerful as they feel. And I love that for like a kid's adventure. Yeah. But it's not a kid's movie. It's like in between. It's that sweet spot on it's the in between. PG-13 land. Now I do want to give a shout out to some of the actors in this movie. So first of all, we have Jaden Michael, who plays Miguel. We have Jared Jones III, who plays Bobby Carter. And we have Gregory Diaz IV, I think. Yes, the fourth, who plays Luis Acosta. And these three boys, I think, are so lovable. They're all kind of at this age where they're about to be teenagers, but they're not quite there. So they're kind of like on the verge of deciding who they're gonna be in life. I know that sounds like so dramatic, but we have one character, Bobby, who's like dealing with if he's going to follow the path like his mother wants for him to go to school and have a different, better life than the one that he currently has in the Bronx, or if he's going to go the route of, in the movie they say like his father, which is being in a gang and becoming basically a criminal. And he's sort of on the edge of like deciding this for himself, like who he's going to become. And I think that Gerald Jones III, I think he just does such a great job in that role. And we also have, once again, Jaden Michael playing Miguel, who is our lead boy. And I think he's just so sweet and so strong. And I just think he's such a great leading character. And then we have like our little like comic, like nerdy dude that's Gregory Diaz IV, who plays Luis. And I just all these kids running around, biking to the bodega, living their lives. It's just, I don't know. It was really nice. You also have some comedy faces you'll recognize. We have Method Man, The Kid Moreau, and Chris Redd, who all have different roles in this movie and all do a great job. And then I have a very special shout out to give, which is to my friend Jordan Tyson, who is an actress I know in New York. I had no idea you were in this movie, but when you came up on the screen, I was so delighted. So I just want to give a shout out and say that she did a great job. I'm so proud. Whenever I see a friend in a movie, I'm just like, oh my God, you made it. I'm proud of you. Killing it. Okay, now let's get into some of the vampire stuff. So we have a lot of nods to different vampires in popular culture, books, movies. So first of all, I already said Murnau Enterprises is a nod to the director Nosferatu. Also, the symbol for Murnau Enterprises is a clear image of Vlad the Impaler, who was said to be the inspiration for Dracula. Lewis, in the beginning of the movie, is reading Salem's Lot. They watch Blade throughout the movie, which is a delight. There's even moments that feel like nods to Lost Boys and just different vampire movies, but all that stuff for me, I was just like, yeah. Oh, there's also like an interview with the vampire moment, which I might just be like seeing what I want to see with that, but you know. And then overall, the vampires in the movie, I don't find them particularly horrifying, but I think they're like just scary enough. Like a lot of the vampire stuff is kind of over the top, a little cheesy. Sometimes it's straight up comedy moments, but I like that about it. It's a kid's adventure movie. It should be like that. And the vampires have some really gnarly teeth in this movie. Like this one dude, very, very gross. But yeah, overall, I just really enjoyed this one. I don't really have any negatives about it. It's something that I would definitely show my kids when they were, you know, old enough to handle it. I don't have kids, but when I do. It also really made me crave. So if you ever come to New York, I know people talk about the pizza, they talk about the bagels, but something that you need to get is go to a bodega and get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll. You can thank me later. It is a New York staple. I haven't had one in a while, and this movie really made me crave it. You also probably saw that in Birds of Prey as well. That's like a big moment they showed, is the bacon, egg, and cheese. But it truly is. I typically would go for that over a New York bagel. So, just saying. And I think that's about it. This is day 8 of my 31 days of Halloween. And I do want to just remind you guys that my schedule for this month is still flexible. I have left some open slots for movies that come out maybe unexpectedly or things I didn't really know about, to have some spots for recommendations from you guys. A few of you reached out to me about this movie in particular, and it wasn't originally on my list for this month. And then I watched it and was like, yeah, I gotta go talk about that. It's amazing. Ugh. And like the way they figure out how to defeat vampires, like how vampire lore is explained, it's just so fun. It's just the Sprite bottles. When you know what I mean, come back and leave a heart down below. But the Sprite bottle, it's hilarious. It's just a really fun movie. All right, y'all, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Have a nice scream. Bye.